That's an art in itself, I think.
That makes me so happy. So what you're saying is you liked it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is everybody's favorite Nuna, Michelle. And as you can see, I am here with a very, very, very special guest. Our second special guest to the channel, and he just happens to be special for quite a number of reasons. For one, he is a professional music producer. I'll let him tell you a little bit more about his work in a bit. But most importantly, he is my husband. And this is his studio that he so graciously lets us film in. So you guys have been watching this for weeks now. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is my husband, Matthew Tryba.
Hi, welcome to my studio. I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this. I thought it would be super fun, especially with a group like Treasure, who does write and produce a lot of their own songs, including some of their most recent comebacks. So today we are going to be watching the real Treasure recording behind of Last Night. If you guys have been following along with my Treasure journey at all, you'll know Last Night is one of my absolute favorite songs in the whole wide world. I still can't believe that they didn't do it in concert, but it's fine. Hopefully we see it live soon. So, Matthew, tell us a little bit about your history. How did you get into music in the first place? And what all have you done as a professional music maker?
I got into music very deliberately. Nobody invites you into this industry. It's incredibly difficult, but rewarding and exciting. I grew up playing the flute, and I fell in love with music as a child. And post-college, I was like, I'm going to take my shot. I'm going to go for it. And I was lucky enough to meet the drummer of OneRepublic at a very opportune time, and I was recording stuff in my basement. It all was terrible and then became less terrible. And then I worked as an engineer for OneRepublic for about 4 years, worked on a lot of awesome records. From there, I worked on records with The Fray. And this whole time I had been writing and producing songs on my own, and I really gained like a PhD in production working in those studios. Insane studios, hundreds of thousands of dollars of gear, millions of dollars in just studio construction. So lucky to be working in those amazing spaces. And then in the last, 9 years, I've been off on my own writing and producing and just creating a ton of songs for musicians all over the world, and as well as for film and television. We've gotten some trailers, some shows on the CW, and it's really exciting to just, be able to make music out of just nothing right here in this little space. And then, when you hear it on a TV show or see it in a commercial, it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's truly mind-blowing, everyone. Music starts from nothing, which is kind of crazy, and I'm excited to show Matthew how Treasure makes some of their music by watching this behind the scenes today. You also met one of his artists that he works with, Love Christian, so if you're following along with my The Boys series, you can go back and watch some of those. I'm introducing a professional singer to The Boys for the first time, but for today, I'm going to be introducing Matthew to Treasure. Funny enough, most of you know I got my beginnings with Treasure by watching Shining solo. Matt, naturally, as we live in the same household, he got to watch some of Shining solo too. Yeah. What's some of your initial impressions of the guys from just Shining solo?
There was definitely a difference in skill in talking to girls. And I think we're going to watch Asahi's song today, and Asahi really stuck out. Him crab walking away from when that girl comes in the hallway is hilarious.
Yeah, Matt always affectionately refers to Asahi as the guy who crab walked away. So he's going to get to see a different side of Asahi today, and I'm really excited to see what he thinks about it. So we're going to watch the Last Night behind, and then we're going to wrap things up with the music video itself so Matthew can hear the final production of the song. Before we get started, what are a couple of the songs that you've worked on that you think people might know out there?
Biggest one would be Counting Stars by OneRepublic. It's all over the world. What was that in 2013, I think? Yeah, that's that guy up there. And I got to see that song from absolutely nothing. Blank Pro Tools session. I was there with Ryan Tedder and we're like, we're starting a new song. I was like, okay. And he starts putting down guitar and I'm setting up the mics, recording it. And I remember telling him like, oh, your bracelet is rattling in time with the guitar, but it sounds kind of cool. And he was like, all right. And I can still hear that rattling in the song today. And I can still hear the string squeaks of his hands. I'm the only person in the world that notices that billions of times it's been played. No one else cared, which is an interesting lesson in itself. But
nice. Any other artists or any other songs?
Taylor Swift worked on Welcome to New York, whether you love it or hate it. It was a fun one, and she knew what she wanted. And we also did I Know Places. Was able to work on Adele's 25, Remedy. That was very special because it's Adele, and just being able to hear her vocal in isolation is, I mean, it's insane. She is the my queen. Yeah, she is my like pinnacle of somebody who's got that perfect balance of technical singer but also emotive vocalist, and that is just such a hard thing to do.
Well, awesome, honey. We are excited to see what you think of this behind recording. We're going to get Matthew's professional expertise on everything from the gear they use to how good the boys do in the studio. So without further ado, let's hop into reacting to the Real Treasure recording behind of Last Night. And don't worry, I have my Treasure Maker light stick right here.
Treasure Maker?
Fandom is treasure makers or tumes. Like the shortened is tume, which is like very cute. It's very cutie.
All right, kind of like Stay. They make them
stay.
Yeah,
Matt knows Stray Kids. Matt's been to an ATEEZ concert and BTS, so like ARMY, Stay, so like tume, but it's short for treasure maker.
Cool.
All right, let's get into it. There's 10 members in this group.
Okay.
And this is our Asahi.
That's Asahi. He looks more comfortable.
밤이 이쁜데 그 밤의 풍경보다 네가 더 이쁘다.
So I forgot to mention, or maybe I did, but Asahi wrote the song and wrote the lyrics. The three rappers, Hyunsuk, Yoshi, and Haruto, typically write their own lyrics as well, but Asahi is like the lead in writing this song. So he'll talk a little bit about like how he made it and stuff like that.
Okay. Are they producing too or just vocals?
Sometimes they do produce as well, but I only saw writing credits for Asahi on this one.
좋은데요. 로미오와 줄리엣. 그래서 옛날에 영감 받았던 건데 지금이다 해가지고 그냥 써봤죠. Thank you, Romeo.
That one's Do Young.
Do Young.
One of the vocalists.
All right. Ooh, those are my dream speakers. Back up front.
We can go backwards.
Go back 15 seconds. Okay. And pause. Yeah, those are barefoot footprints. Not the footprint. Micromain 27. Generation 3, I think, because you can see that middle, like little cone in the middle.
What makes them your dream speakers?
So what's cool about them is you can see there's that big speaker on the side, and they have them on both sides, and so they control the bass, so they're very, very stable. They can get very loud, and then they can also mimic other speakers, so you can hear what it sounds like on like a home stereo, and then like a hi-fi system, and then those speakers. Very accurate. They can get freaking loud. Probably overkill for our little room right now, but they're about $14,000 a pair. They're not cheap.
That's why G money right there, for sure. Because I'm sure they don't have just one.
Well, I mean, you need two. Well, yeah, and then you have multiple rooms. And then if they do it,
professionals know that I don't. You need two, everybody.
Well, then some people do freaking Atmos with these, so that's like 9 to 11.
What's Atmos?
Atmos is like hyper surround system, mostly useful for movies, and they're trying to do it with music, but I don't think it's going to work.
Right, so Matthew's dream speakers, if anyone wants to give him a gift.
Yeah, right there, barefoot. That's Pro Tools. Spent a lot of time in Pro Tools. There's a studio. Oh, okay, they have Adams mains, so the soffit mounted mains, the speakers on the wall. Those are Adam audio speakers. And those are mostly just to like hype up the artists or the label people. They just get really freaking loud and sound really fun, but they're less useful for actually making music. They're just more like that. Let's just have fun and write and get excited.
Nice. And from what I've heard from you, like setting the tone and the vibe is really important in a lot of these recording scenarios
Yep.
and atmospheres.
That is I think that's some of the art in a producer and producers and engineers is like, how do you navigate the technical and make it disappear and then create a room and space for that energy? And especially for vocals, that like place of safety where they're gonna have bad notes, they're gonna have bum notes, but they've got to feel safe to do that so that they can let loose and get to the good stuff.
Cool. Nice. Anything else in here you want to point out?
It's a pretty stripped down studio, which a lot of modern pop works towards. Maybe someday we'll do a studio tour of mine. I also have a stripped down studio. And the reason is you just don't want to be like faffing about with gear that's broken when you're trying to get good takes.
That's Jihoon,
안녕하세요.
also a vocalist. He was one of the leaders.
짤랑거리는 게 너무 많아서 짤랑거리는 다 빼주고.
You mentioned Ryan's bracelet
Oh,
in
yeah.
Counting Stars. So Jihoon is taking off a lot of his jewelry right now because he said there's too much jingling around. So I'm going to take all this off.
Yeah, it's cool for acoustic guitar, not so cool for like if someone's got vocals, or don't put on lip gloss before you sing because it makes a lot of mouth noises.
Mouth noises. Matthew cannot stand mouth noises.
Yeah.
안녕하십니까 여러분들. 오늘은 Last Night 녹음을 하는 첫
All right, so that mic is an Elam 251T for titanium, made by Telefunken, which was originally a German company. These were made way back in the 40s, originally 50s, and then it was recently bought by an American company. I'm gonna guess that that's a newer one based off of the paint. And that's like the go-to pop vocal mic, that and the T251E, which is the mint green one, which you might have seen. And that's about a $13,000 microphone right there.
I heard a lot of T's for treasure.
T for treasure.
T for treasure.
Yeah.
첫 번째 날이고요. 첫 번째부터 코러스 1부터 가볼까요?
알겠습니다.
Last night 너와 내가 했던 말 Moonlight 너의 눈에 빛이 나.
음정만 조금 더 정확하면 좋을 것 같아.
네. Last night 너와 내가 했던 말 Moon.
So I think you can, what I can hear is we're hearing the camera microphone, not the recorded mic.
Big one.
So the pitch that we're hearing is how he's singing it in the room. We're not hearing auto-tune now. We're not hearing the processing. We're just hearing it raw. So that's nice. I mean, he's doing a solid job.
Yeah.
Just like,
Our vocal king.
yeah. Oh, he's the vocal.
He's not like the main vocal. That'll be Jungwoo, who I'm sure they'll show here shortly. But he is one of the vocalists. So they've got the rappers and their vocalists.
Yeah.
And he typically focuses more on the singing side of things than rapping.
Yeah. And he's in the vocal booth now. I don't personally love vocal booths.
Oh, really?
But
Why?
because you're separated from the artist by a piece of glass, and then you always have to be pushing this button in order to talk with them. And sometimes it can lead to awkward moments because you could see there was an engineer and a producer in the other room. If sometimes they're talking, but the artist doesn't hear what they're saying, they might think like, oh, they're saying something about me. And so it can just suck away their confidence.
Goes back to that confidence and having the atmosphere in there. Totally. I can see how it can totally be like a personal preference.
It's ideal for the sonics because then the producers can be listening on speakers and it's not going to get into the microphone. But I just like to be able to turn around and just like totally communicate with an artist. And One Republic, I actually had them switch. So we used to do it this way where Ryan Tedder would be recording his vocals in the other room. But I could just sense he just wasn't loving it. And he's also very good at engineering himself. So I was like, screw it. We're going to put the microphone in the control room, the other room where the other guys are, and just have it right next to the computer. And he can just do it himself. And that was better. And it made better music. But in this situation, it makes sense.
Totally.
오늘 컨디션이 안 좋다 보니까 뭔가 컨트롤이 안 돼요. 뭔가 이 정도는 나와야 되는데.
It's crazy he can
일단
sound that
몇번
good
해볼게요.
when he's not in his top condition.
Last night 너와 내가 했던 말 Moonlight 너의 눈에 빛이 나.
All right. He can do harmonies too. You'd be amazed at how many really good lead vocalists can't harmonize. I don't know why. Like they only ever sing the main melody, I guess, and they don't get practice doing harmonies.
Interesting.
So it shows that he has probably some formal musical education when he was younger or in training. So
I can't speak for Jihoon specifically, and if you all know out there, Treasure Makers, let me know in the comments, but a lot of the members of Treasure went to some of the performing arts high schools. So part of that education is a lot of times, depending on their major, like how to be idols, right? So the singing classes are a part of it, acting classes, those kind of things. So I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I don't know where Jihoon went to high school, but let me know in the comments. Very well may have had that education built in, or, you know, K-pop trainees get years and years and years of training experience with professionals that teach them how to sing, dance, the famous selfie classes, all that fun stuff.
yeah.
예, 내 전문 파트 아니야 거의.
그럼.
네, 이거 뚝딱일 것 같은데요.
서로 그날을 기억해.
2번 정도만.
네.
He's doing a good job of getting into his nasal part of his face.
오케이.
So that keeps it.
Where you want to be.
When he's going up high, it helps. Well, then you have goofs like that.
나를 기억해.
He's pushing too much there. This happens all the time. There's so many moments when the singer just wants to throw their headphones at the wall. Because singing in a studio is just hard. There's so much you can get away with live that you can't get away with in the studio. And I coach artists through this all the time. Because live, everyone's excited to be there. You know, K-pop, you've been waiting in line for hours and hours and hours. They're all done up. There's the lights. There's the fog. They're shooting the water guns or whatever else. Confetti, smoke,
We do
whatever.
get doused in water sometimes.
They're dancing. That you can see their body language. You can see the energy of their performance in real time. But in a studio, especially like look at this one, it can be a sterile environment, quite literally sonically. And you have to give all of that believability with nothing but a microphone in front of your face. And that is so hard to do. And it can be frustrating at moments, but you have to just keep pushing through it.
나오는 느낌으로 끝내줄 수 있어? 랑을?
그러면
약속했던 사람 너와 내 last night.
Like you said, bringing out the emotions.
괜찮죠?
You kind of have to fake it
Okay.
in the moment.
네, 됐다 이거.
오케이.
오케이, 고생하셨습니다.
He's very goofy. I
Yeah.
love Jihoon. He's very funny. He's one of the only extroverts in the group. There's only 3 of them.
I
This
believe
is
it.
Jungwoo. This is their main vocalist.
Okay.
모기가 잉잉 되는. 근데 진짜 있었나 봐요. 여기 물렸거든요.
Very nice studio.
그래서 좀 잠을 설정.
All those things behind him help deflect the sound
목 풀다가
without
갈게.
absorbing.
예.
서로가 나를 기억해. 서로가 나를 기억해.
이거 어때요?
이거 좋아요.
It's been some time. The lights have changed. I bet he's more
I think he
warm.
wasn't feeling well that first.
I think he's more warmed up. Yeah.
너의 눈에 빛이 나.
That was solid.
들어올게.
오케이.
요거 어땠어 방금 거?
1이 아쉬웠어요.
All right, more harmonies. Yeah.
정환이 어떻게 했어요?
He also has a nice airy tone.
Moonlight 아래 너와 춤추던 날
오케이.
Moonlight 아래 너와 춤추던
근데 너가 웃음이 터지기 직전에 약간 먹으면 그 노래 느낌 있지?
But it's easy to get the
나쁘진
giggles
않았어.
during the
진짜로?
recording session.
Yeah, especially when you have a vocal flip or you do something stupid and you just gotta laugh it off and just keep going.
한 50kg 되겠는데?
There's a sign.
There's a sign.
아 진짜? 네.
밤하늘 속에 저 별 하나 유독 돋보이게 빛나 Last night 너 가리게 내게 건네준 말가 내게 건네준 말
완극이 안 되니까 이제 계속 내게 건네준 이게 되거든.
네.
그러니까 조금 거기 더 부드럽게.
네.
Last night 너가 내게 건네준 말 Last night 너가
We're in a different studio, I think. So they're probably recording some of them in parallel. So they could have two going at the same time. Makes
With
sense.
10 members, it definitely makes sense. 10
Yeah.
members is a lot. And they only have so much time. They have crazy schedules.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just so many vocals in pop music and K-pop especially. It would make a lot of sense to divide it up among a few rooms.
YG's got money. Like I
Yeah.
mentioned, that YG money. I'm sure they have many studios in that building. It's
Yeah.
humongous.
내게 건네준 말
어떨 것 같아? 너 오늘 컨디션 봤을 때
Let
Yeah, see, the walls changed.
Last night 너가 내게 건네준 말 Last night 너가 내게 건네준 말 Moonlight
Different serial numbers on the mics. That's a funny face. But they're using the same mic, so they can probably interchange to different studios. They probably have carbon copies of all the gear in the different rooms.
You ever write
Tired?
a song that's out of your range?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. And what can happen is like you'll start a song and then if you just keep going and making all the track and then all of a sudden you realize like it's too high, that's the worst feeling. So I really try to I drive singers crazy. We'll go and move the song up and down a ton to figure out what key works for them. And that's probably really hard to do with 10 people because
Yeah,
they're all
totally
different.
different vocal ranges. You also have the rappers in their range, but Asahi's probably like, why did I do this to myself right now?
Yeah, that's that,
That
look.
face.
That's that look. I'm like, gosh darn it.
Moonlight 비춰진 네 모습 같아
역시나 좀 높은
Whoops.
노래인 만큼 좀 라이브 연습도 그렇고
둘 진성은 힘들잖아.
약간 해요.
He's just so different on stage and off. It's so funny. So here's Do-young.
짙어진 밤 저 달도 별들도 너에게 질투한
너무 그렇게 짙어진 밤 이렇게 세게 안 가도 돼. 여기서 가볍게 던지고
네네.
짙어진 밤 저 달도 별들
Okay, everyone needs to know that Matthew does this when he is in a conversation and gets really like intense about it or really serious. His hand just like hovers up here as well. So I feel like you're like Do-young in that case because I know Matt's getting really serious when I see him across the room. He's talking to someone doing this.
I can't help it. It helps to move your hands singing though, because it helps you think about something else and get more into the flow of your body and not just stand super stiff. And like if singers have their hands on their hips, you can hear it. They sound
Sure.
less energetic.
Totally. Yeah, love it. Good job, Doey.
도 너에게 질투한
That's nice.
Moonlight 아래 너와 춤추던 날 약속했던 사랑
His tails are good.
가져가겠습니다. 약속했던 사랑
It's right on his second break. We have different breaks in our voices as singers as my hand goes up. And that's right on his second break. So it's just really hard muscular wise to like navigate those notes. And he has to he's trying to figure out how is he going to attack it, which is a big part of recording vocals because nobody has sang this song before. And you have to figure out like, how are you going to sing it? You don't just show up and just like, blah, it just falls out. You have to like figure out technically, how are we going to attack this song?
또 수정 녹음하러 왔습니다. 파이팅!
That's good. They have practice sessions.
약속했던 사랑
That's good.
약속했던 사랑
That second note, side, to get those all lined up, that's probably what they're really focusing on because you need all of the stacks and stacks and stacks of vocals that they're doing to line up at the same time because mid-val, you can't really edit. You can't cheat. You've got to get it right.
2번 어때요? 2번
나도 이번이 좋더라.
나도 이번이 좋더라.
2번 좋습니다. 얍.
For you my baby
This is Jungwon. Jungwon is their youngest member.
다섯 테이크 안에 끝날 것 같아.
We've watched him graduate high school.
Oh, he's got an interesting voice. Yeah, I like him. He's got you can hear when somebody has like a face that just makes an interesting sound.
That makes me so happy.
딱
Yeah.
That's my bias record.
랑이 마무리가
I love his voice too.
약속했던 사랑
죄송합니다. 다시 할게요.
약속했던 사랑
나와도 될 것 같아.
This is Junkyu. He's currently one of the leaders.
너와 나 둘이 날아.
You definitely saw him in Shining Solo because he's in the same episodes as Asahi.
Okay.
He's like always super smiley and stuff.
Okay.
너와 나 둘이 나란히 앉아 조용한 밤 보낸 날. Beautiful last night.
That's good.
Beautiful last night. Beautiful last night.
Well, that was really good. Yeah, he's getting up into his falsetto, and I like how he's bringing character in that little vocal fry. Last night, like it's that stuff that makes it interesting. Because if it's all just pretty and nice, it gets boring.
Junkyu's also written and contributed in writing and producing a few songs for Treasure as well. So I actually have lined up some more reactions down the line. I think very specifically would love to do Move. I know that's a fan favorite. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll see a lot more of Junkyu.
Beautiful last night.
It's good harmony arranging.
This is Jaehyuk.
저 달도 별들도 너에게 저 달도 별들도 저 달도
You feel your pain?
별들도
You can tell. So when he's pulling off his vocal like that, he's probably losing or pulling off his headphones. That's a sign that he's probably losing confidence. Which maybe you just take a break. I mean, look at that face right there. His little face of agony. I mean, recording vocals is hard.
You can
it's
do
hard.
it, Jaehyuk. You can do it.
It's hard for everyone.
Hyunsuk, he was one of their leaders before. He's one of their rappers.
Oh,
Aw.
singing into the floor.
저 달도 별들도 너에게 질투한
이게 좋은 것 같은데.
That's a pretty hard line melodically to sing.
Last night 너와 내가 했던 말
Here's Hyunsuk.
Last night 너와 Last night
Hyunsuk is such an ace because he is a rapper, he writes as well, but he's also a great vocalist and an incredible dancer. I believe he's one of their lead dancers, so he's like an ace is what we would call it in K-pop, when you can really do all three and do all three very, very, very well.
Yeah, 우리의 설렜던 밤 미래를 기약하던 밤 위에 우주의 별을 담은 너의 달이 되어줄게 달이 되어줄게
여기까지 있습니다.
기약하던 밤 위에 우주의 별을 담은 너의 달이 되어줄게 Night, night, night Beautiful last night
좀 녹음을 끝냈는데 소프라노의 그런 면모를 보여드렸다고 말씀드릴 수 있겠습니다. 뭐 잘 부른 건 아니지만 열심히 했습니다. 네, 뭐 랩도
This song's so high for everyone.
오네요.
His rap, you could tell, is more comfortable.
할까?
This is Haruto. He's a part of the Maknae line and one of the rappers as well.
Was it the guy that was eating chicken and
Yes, alone.
eating chicken alone?
Yes.
이렇게 저별이라도 따줄게. 형, 이거 너무 재미없지 않아?
그래서 내가 아까 너한테 그 발음을 잘 씹어달라고 한 거거든.
뭐 여기를 약간 바꾸고.
기억할 수 있게 저별이라도 따줄게.
So like I mentioned before, the rappers will typically write their own lines and their own parts. Typically, right?
Okay.
I never want to say it's 100% of the time, but most of the time, which is cool. So I like to see them adjust them as they go. I also, Haruto is like the low tone rapper.
Okay.
It's really cool.
오늘은 평생 기억할 수 있게 저별이라도 따줄게.
That's hard to keep it in time that low. That's
형,
good.
이걸 가성으로 해요, 뭐 일정으로 해요?
네가 제일 마음에 드는 걸로.
오케이.
This guitar. I bet it's like 2:30 in the morning. And like these poor guys, I don't know if you noticed, there's 0 windows. And like this whole, I mean, outside there's windows coming in, but it is so hard to spend hours and hours and hours and hours in a studio with no windows.
Matthew didn't have a window until we moved into our house 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or then his studio was a windowless box.
I'm like, I'd kill for a window. And it just, even though they're not like sonically great, it just makes your life so much better.
He's also Japanese.
Okay.
He and Asahi and Yoshi.
Okay. It's got a good tone.
오케이.
This is my bias, Yoshi.
내가 오늘 밤 너를 모시는 로미오라고 듣고
He's also a rapper.
줄리엣입니다. 막 이래요. 배웠는데 막 이래.
Making content.
He's also written and produced some songs for them.
똑바로 하자.
I see there's the talk back. It's right down there at the bottom. That's the button they push to talk to the artists. And you got to be like on your game when you use that. And it can do different modes. Like you could just, usually have to push and hold it. And then it's like a walkie-talkie. You can talk to them. Sometimes you just like tap it and it will stay on. And you really need to be aware of what mode it's in. Because you never want to give the singer any impression that you're talking behind their back or that they're not involved or connected in any way.
너 왔어?
들어간다. 유시야, 가사 바뀐 거 괜찮고 가보자. 네가 잘하기도 전에 내게 준 사람 받아주기 바래 기도를 꾹 담아 꾹
He's got a good
받아주기
tone.
바래 기도를 꾹 담아 꾹 쿡만 안 되면 되겠다. 꾸도 안 되고 꾹도 안 돼. 네가 잘하기도 전에 내게 준 사람 받아주기 바래 기도를 꾹 담아.
He's got a good cadence and pacing. I don't like when rappers just do like that rapping typical thing as if they were freestyling. Because freestyling is its own thing, but you're not freestyling. You wrote the rap beforehand and you have to figure out how are you going to deliver it in a rhythm that's unique to you and still has energy and emotion.
I love his vocal tone too.
랩이 장난이야?
That's good.
안 돼. 좀 눌러줘. 아무래부터 난 네 것이었어.
He's also
야,
from
네가
Japan.
잘하기도 전 네 것이었어. 오케이, 고생했어요.
감사합니다.
예. 고생했어.
하나, 둘, 셋.
Wow.
지도 선배님 계시다고 하셔가지고.
G-Dragon is a part of Big Bang.
그래서 사인을
Second
받으려고
Fiddler,
하는데 저는
the
또
kings of
도저히
K-pop.
떨려서 말을 못하겠고요.
They're under the same company.
어제도 이랬어요.
Yeah, look at all those rooms. Boom, boom, boom. There's like 8 rooms right there
Yep.
for all the writing, producing, vocal arranging.
So they're going to go visit G-Dragon, I think. Yep. So cute. They're such big fans of G-Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
He is like the king of K-pop. G-Dragon
Be
like
cool, guys.
invented light sticks. Big Bang was the first ones to have light sticks.
Oh, okay.
에너지 받아가지고.
Obviously, that was a good
Yeah.
idea.
This is the same company as Blackpink and Baby Monster.
Oh, okay.
You know them.
Yeah, I love Blackpink. Nice. Yeah, you can tell like they're very organized in how they run everything, that all of the vocals are arranged and figured out beforehand and then they just go and replace them. You gotta do that with that many people recording. You gotta have a plan or you're gonna be there for weeks and you're gonna lose momentum on the song. So whoever, I don't know, it could be some of the members, it could be some vocal producers who are doing the vocal arrangement and they're doing a good job.
So that was the behind recording Matthew just watched, and now we're going to go straight into the music video so you can see the finished product. All right, last night music video. Let's go. Finished product.
Asahi.
I have a feeling you're gonna be Asahi biased. I feel like you like him.
He was just such like an 11-year-old boy in that one show. He was so scared of girls, but it was so endearing.
Yeah.
밤하늘 속에 저 별 하나 유독 돋보이게 빛나 너와 나 둘이 나란히 앉아
Nice.
조용한 반복의 날 너는 고개를 계속 든 채 하늘만 바라보고 있었겠지만 나는 너의 그 옆모습이 별보다 빛나 보여 my baby 짙어진 밤 저 달도 별들도 너에게 질투한 그 밤 서로 그날을 기억해 Last night 너와 내가 했던 말 Moonlight 너의 눈에 비친 날 My love 약속했던 사랑 Beautiful last night
I like that harmony. Just some seconds in there.
안아줄게 내 품에서 안 떠났음에 오늘은 평생 기억할 수 있게 저 별이라도 따줄게
Yeah 우리의 설렜던 밤 미래를 기약하던 밤 위에 우주의 별을 담은 너의 달이 되어줄게
네가 따라기도 전에 내게 준 사람 받아주기 바래 기도로 꾹 담아 난 너는 반 넘어지는 로미오 아무 무렵부터 난 네 것이었어 짙어진 밤 저 달도 별들도 너에게
That's fun.
질투한 그 밤 서로 끝내
That was the part that you said was melodically difficult when Jaehyuk was singing it. The one
Oh,
that was
okay.
like crying into the floor about it. That was his part. So he got it. He-
Nice.
He got
Yeah,
there.
you
He
get
got
there.
it.
나를 기억해 Last night 너와 내가 했던 말 Moonlight 너의 눈에 비친 날 My love 약속했던 사랑 Beautiful last night 너와 내 last night Beautiful last night Last night 영원히 기억해 그날 Moonlight 달에 너와 춤추던 날 Last night 영원히 기억해 그날 Moonlight 달에 너와 춤추던 날 Last night 눈가를 길고 내준 말 Moonlight 젖은 네 모습조차 My 약속했던 사랑 너와 내 last night
Nice. Woo. Yeah, they did a good job of really capturing each of their tone and making sure that their vocal personality came out in the record, which is good. Because there can be a lot of K-pop songs. Sometimes you're like, I can't really tell who's singing.
Sure.
And I feel like you could tell who was singing in each part. And I think they captured the best parts of each of their characters, which has to be its own challenge. And like just figuring out who's going to sing what line, that's an art in itself, I think.
That makes me so happy. So so what you're saying is you liked it.
Yeah.
I love that song. I blast it in the car all the time, so I'm sure you've heard it before, but I love that song so much.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have plenty more of these behinds to show Matthew for Treasure, especially since Treasure produces and writes a lot of their own songs. So if you have any specific songs, especially those that are written by the members, because I think that's really cool for Matthew to see, please drop your suggestions down below. I want to show him lots more things. If you had to pick a bias after this, are you leaning towards anybody in particular?
I don't know yet. It's too early to tell. I do kind of like Asahi's endearing. It's just funny to see.
It gets you.
Yeah. And I think it's a well-written song, but TBD.
Okay, fair enough. All right, everyone, drop your suggestions below for other videos and songs I should show Matthew. We're surely going to have him back. And if there's anything else you want to know about, things that have ever piqued your curiosity while you're watching these behind the scenes of the recordings, let us know your questions and I'll make sure that Matthew hops on. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube at TRYBA.MUSIC or at my website, MatthewTryba.com.
All right, thanks so much, everyone. And as always, See you next time.